Good afternoon. My name is Christian Guerrero, and I'm here to give a TED Talk about a topic that is very important to me. It's an issue I care greatly about. So, some preface. I'm gay. I'm a member of the LGBTQ population that lives within the United States of America, as well as being an LGBTQ global citizen. So, some background on me, some more background. My minor is Business Foundations. It used to be my major, but it's not anymore. And the reason why I personally chose to change my major was I didn't really feel the LGBT presence in these workplaces. I know many companies have platforms in which they're open to it, and there are even particular businesses and entrepreneurships that specifically cater to the LGBTQ population. And even within the LGBTQ, which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, Q meaning queer or questioning, depending on which circle you run in. But yeah, like I said, I think it was, I think it's okay to be gay and it's okay to work in business, but sometimes it's not okay to be both. And that's how it used to be. I don't necessarily think that it exists now. I think now it's 2019, you're allowed to be whoever you'd like to be, and that's just that. At least in this country, for the most part, and from my personal experience as well, and from many of the LGBTQ friends I have, we have mostly positive experiences, and even within specifically the University of Houston, all I have are great things to say. However, I don't always feel that presence within the businesses themselves. For example, less than 0.5% of CEOs of any Fortune 500 company are LGBTQ, whereas in the general population, those who are LGBTQ ranges from 2 to even 10%. Yet in these Fortune 500s, it's 0.5. And that makes me wonder, why is that? Why is it that these businesses many claim to be, open and inviting? Why aren't those higher up being members of the LGBTQ population? Now, I have not worked in a Fortune 500 company myself, but from what I would think is there are many members who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender who work within the company, yet they may not always be given leadership roles. Again, some more background on myself. My major is psychology. And so through that major, I've learned a lot about research and presentation, socialization, and how that comes out in the workplace. And many times, LGBTQ people are not given leadership roles because their presence or their what they're in charge of may not always be well received by others, because many people often think in like the binary or the binary. They think man, they think woman. They think men are in charge, women are not. Or they think a gay man can never run a business. I think a lesbian has too many feelings to be a CEO. And that's simply not true. And so I've noticed a lot of grassroots organizations are coming to be, but that's not the only place for the LGBTQ population. We shouldn't only have to do these grassroots. I feel like, we gotta be open, and these companies gotta practice what they preach. And that's not to say, these companies don't do it. Like, for example, there's this program called Out Leadership, and it's like an LGBTQ alliance, I would say. It's multinational. I think there's 70 participating countries or companies in this program. So I think it's very important that there's that visibility out there, because truly being anti-LGBT is not good for business. And like I said, it's 2019. You are who you are, and people tend to be more accepting of that. So I think if a business were to claim otherwise, they may not be met with the best results. Yet, these businesses still don't have LGBTQ members running these businesses, or really having too many positions of leadership. Or if they do, their role is more of a background role. Because many companies, to the clientele, they will be like, we want you. But within the company, they may not always show that. And as I said, before, I'm not saying that these companies are ignorant, nor is there no LGBTQ presence. I'm just saying it's very small. I will focus on one letter, the T. T is for transgender. People who they were assigned a gender at birth that they may not necessarily agree with or feel that's like the correct gender. And many of these people often have adversities throughout their lives. And so they're a marginalized population within a marginalized population within a marginalized population. So it's I'd imagine it's very hard for somebody to grow up as a transgender woman, transgender to becoming a CEO of any company, let alone a Fortune 500 company. So how are we going to bridge this gap? When are we going to live in an age in which I'm not here having to say, I don't see it, I'm LGBTQ, but I don't see it in my CEOs. I don't see it from these brands I buy. And I especially don't, I don't see a gay man, but I especially don't see a transgender woman or a transgender man running these businesses and having these leadership roles. So what do we go about sparking that change? Well, personally, I think it's important that we be open-minded and we be considerate. And I think it starts with the new generation. And I think it starts with us educating those who may not know above us and teaching those who are younger than us, respect and how to really embrace someone for who they are. I think it's important to, if your pronoun is he, that and you may not be obviously he, it's important that you say that, and it's important that in any place, I don't think people should have to resort to a specific LGBT business or a specific LGBT group to express how they feel. I think someone can just walk into their office, walk into their job, walk into their school and say, I'm this, call me this, and that's how it'll be. But that's not always met with the most open of minds. I think due to the fact that many of these CEOs of these companies and those who are in charge of business in general may be more experienced and maybe a little bit older in age, where they come from a time in which it was socially acceptable to cast aside members of the LGBTQ population, and specifically the T within the trans community, within the LGBTQ community. So we got to start. I think it's, like I said, starts with the young. We got to teach people coming up that it's okay to be who you are, and that we respect whatever you'd like to be called, and that we sort of not just say it, but we do it. We include everybody in games. We include everybody in school. We take off that sort of, what's your gender? You sort of just present who you are. So I think overall, it's very important that for business models to really adapt to the modern age is that they not just claim, it's great that you can be a member of the out leadership, but where are these trans CEOs? Where are my fellow gay men being CEO? I think it's an issue that, in the entrepreneurial world, that's an important issue and that needs to be discussed. And like I said, my minor is business, my major is psychology. So I have more of, I think, an expertise in that field. But from my limited perspective in business, it's not a topic I see about. I don't hear about it too much. And I don't really see that visibility. I see it online. I see when I look up these companies, their statements. I see them at Pride. But where are these strong figureheads who represent the company? Where are they? And how do they not just reach out to the LGBTQ audience, but how do they include them? How are they a part of the process, not just consumers of the process? So I think as we move forward, we got to think of all of us and all of my LGBTQ brothers and sisters.